What's up? I'm Oded, vocalist for Binary Code.
I'm Sean.
I'm Connor.
I'm Jesse. This is PJ. I play guitar for the Binary Code, and you're geeking out to Gear Gods.
Hi, I'm Jesse from Binary Code. I'm gonna run over my rig real quick. I'm gonna start with my Iones Regius 7. This is my main guitar that I'm using. Got a lot of crazy stuff back here that we'll go over later. This is a really cool guitar, and my favorite feature about this guitar is the pickups. The pickups interact really well with this guitar. I think the guys at Iones really nailed that. These are bare knuckle Juggernaut pickups. These are the Misha Mansour signatures, and he's just, he knows his tone, and he was able to translate it into a pickup. And it's a ceramic and Alnico, which is a really cool combination for a pickup, which means you can get tones from all over the planet. So, big fan of those guys. I'm using it in an R&B kind of cover band right now, and I'm able to do twangy, jazzy stuff with that, so it's pretty cool. You guys can tell this is a quilted maple top. It's got a nice rounded body, kind of ovation-ish, where it kind of rolls off the body. It doesn't kind of push into it. It's a 7-string, using a fret wrap to kind of get rid of some of the excess string noise that we have going behind the nut, which is a problem for a lot of metal bands. Spurzel locking tuners, not a huge fan of them. They'll be coming out pretty soon. I much prefer PJ's got, in his Duvel, which he'll show you, he has hip shot tuners in it, and they are infinitely better for kind of getting the micro tuning down. Strap-wise, which I'm actually really into, this is a mono strap from Switzerland. It's a bass strap, it's padded very heavily. It's really great for heavier guitars. I'm a big fan of this strap. I highly recommend people checking these guys out. They also make amazing cases. This is an ABM bridge. They're German-made, very solid bridge. It's an 11-piece neck. I don't remember all the woods. I don't think it really matters. All I know is the more woods you have put together, the stronger this guitar will be. So that's really cool. I love Iones. Big thanks to Chris Johnson and John Thompson from Iones for hooking me and PJ up with these bad boys. It's been an absolute delight to be using these guys. I highly recommend checking out a Iones in person. So that's this guy. One other guitar that I'm using once in a while, depending on the venue, is a custom Telecaster I had made. This is made by a guy named Tim Bryant. He's no longer making guitars. This is a 7-string guitar. It's a bare knuckle nail bomb pickup. I actually use this on the entire Moon's Blood album. There might be some clean parts where I use a Strat, but for the most part, I use this entire thing because it just sounded great. Peruvian walnut top. This is a chambered Purple Heart. Peruvian walnut back. And we have a rosewood neck. It's all the way through. Very thick. It's like a Louisville Slugger on the barrel. It's a 26.188 scale. I really don't understand the logic behind that, except for he thought it was great, and it really worked because it's a little bit longer than usual, but it's accessible for people with smaller reach. So this is a really cool guy. And I have some vintage Ampeg amp knobs on here, which are cool. Got these from a keyboard place called Vintage Vibe. So that's guitars. We'll go check out the Kempers, which is what we use for amps. So PJ and I both use Kempers. It's kind of been the way we've been running amps for a long time, is direct. I really don't see a reason for carrying a bunch of heavy gear when you're in a metal band. You don't have enough time as is to set up when you're playing shows, so you might as well be able to set up quick. You don't have to fight the audiology of the room every time you play a different venue. You don't have to fight with the sound guy about getting your tone right. It's just direct, and it sounds killer. It's also great for monitoring. We're using 6505 amps that are modeled. I believe they're made by Synmix, which are really nice. We're using them through Bogner Uberschall cabinets and SM57 microphones by Shure. I got a TS9 overdrive pedal by Ibanez in front of the amp to give it a little bit of mid-harmonic clarity because we use a lot of big chords on the 7-string. And that's the easiest way to really pull out the natural tone of a guitar, which is a mid-ranged instrument. So really works well together when you use a drive pedal to pull that out of it. We use some clean stuff. We have a twangy channel that I modeled after Wayne Krantz. He uses a Marshall Jubilee, so that's the profile that I used for that. We use that in a song called Immersion. So that's kind of got a more of a deserty kind of funk tone to it. And then on our clean channel, it's a Fender Princeton with a ton of wet reverb on it. It's Hall style reverb. And we use that because the reverb sits in the background kind of as its own instrument. It'll play throughout the whole part and it won't be on top of the notes. So we'll be able to keep playing our parts bass, but we'll have this really cool ambient kind of sound going through the back. We're using wireless right now. We're using Line 6 G30s, which are a little too unreliable for us, so we're gonna be upgrading on that pretty soon. And then we just use simple power conditioners. So this is our monitor that we use on stage. It's a JBL PRX 712. It's a full range flat response speaker. It gives a massive spread of sound. It gives 170-degree spread. So unlike a traditional 4x12, which is very directional, we get more of the compass kind of goes all over the place for the sound. This is the MIDI controller that we're using temporarily. We have Kemper remotes are gonna be showing up pretty soon. On Friday, I believe I'm getting mine, so a couple days from now. Super basic, just kind of runs through. We don't use a lot of different settings, so like we have like a lo-fi setting, which is just the same tone as the heavy stuff that we use, but very quiet and without bass. So we don't really have like a lot of stuff that we use. We're very kind of meat and potatoes in a sense, but with, you know, crazy gear. So I'm gonna go over my real rig. You guys probably saw some weird stuff in the background. It's actually not so weird. It's what I prefer to use for most of our shows. Let's start with our rhythm stick, handmade in Rockaway, New Jersey. This bad boy is what I wrote the whole album on. It's impossible to mess up. Every note is fretted in a spot where basically if I tried to mess up, I couldn't. The only way I could mess up is if I didn't use it. Switch over to this Ibanez semi-hollow bad boy. It's got humbuckers in it. I know nothing about this model except for that it rips. I use this for about 30 seconds in the song Moon's Blood, the first 30 seconds. This is a vintage ES-135. I use this from the 30-second mark in Moon's Blood to the 32nd mark. I only use it for 2 seconds, but it's just it's a tone that I'm looking for, so I gotta have it. I call this guy Reptar. I use this in the song called Dark Meditation. And I only use the high note, and I use it for maybe like, I guess nanoseconds. I don't know like how to divide it. I only use this bad boy out of the whole thing. It just sounds really good through this guy. So the rest of the strings are useless. I use this primarily for 3 seconds. This one, this is RoboCop Jizz. He basically, we just laid a tarp down and invited him over, and we watched Brave Little Toaster and came up with this finish. We got this PRS. I just like to have it because it kind of bursts into something that I feel like kind of matches my handsomeness. So this is a Tom Anderson signature. It's an acoustic. So naturally I use it for all the acoustic parts in our album. So I don't use this at all. I just have it here. Let me move on to what I like to call grandmother's bathroom wall or toilet, depending on how your grandmother is. My grandmother, her bathroom is this entire color. The inside of the bowl is that color. I think it's because she vomits Pepto-Bismol a lot. I use this in a song called Nell. I air guitar along with PJ's lead. I don't actually play it, but I'm gonna pull these both out at the same time because they're the same guitar. I use them because I play them like this too. I just hold this one and shake it, and then this one I give it one of those. Big thanks to the Music Den for having us. This is all their gear, and we're pretending at you.
What's up? I'm Oded, vocalist for Binary Code. I'm gonna go over a little bit about my rig. We're trying to kind of reproduce the album sound, so it was very important we have the right stuff for vocals. I run everything through a processor from TC Helicon, Voice Live rack. It's the rack unit. They also have a foot switch unit. I prefer the rack one, and then I have this little nifty foot switch separately. I was just jealous of these guys for having all these buttons on the floor, so I brought my own. I got presets set up on this, so you can go between different songs, and everything's already set up in advance. I just switch between them. I can change different modes within the songs themselves. Got delay, reverb, but there's a bit of a tuning thing you can do with this to kind of correct little pitch things. From here, this comes in through a mic, obviously. We're using the SLX Shure series, pretty sturdy. This transmitter has a Beta 58 on it. This capsule has such high output, it's crazy. I'm asked to lower the gain everywhere we go. For backup, I use this cool Shure Beta 57, which I had for almost 12 years. This thing doesn't break. I dropped it, ground it, whatever. It doesn't break, it just lasts everything. So it's always here in case my batteries die out, frequencies crap on me, whatever. In-ear monitors are somewhat of a change. I didn't used to believe in in-ear monitors, but about a year ago I started using the PSM 200s, and it really changes the way you perceive live performance. You can really understand what's going on all of a sudden. It makes a huge difference, really changed the way I perform. Right now I'm using the basic in-ears that come with it, the PSM 215s, I think, but we're looking to upgrade to custom-made in-ears at some point soon. We run the entire gig on Click through a Pro Tools session, which is synced with all the samples we have. The Click goes to one side to the ears of our beloved drummer Sean with a bit of guitars, and everything else goes out to the PA system. Just samples, keys, stuff like that, little carpets. And that's about it. Hey, so I'm going to show you some of the magic tricks I use to boost up the sound in our live performance. These are my eggs. I use them for rhythm section to give Sean some guidance when he gets lost. What I do is I put it in my pocket. This is mic'd. You can see it goes through the mic. I can never really figure out how to put this in here. Eventually I'll find out, but I don't know, it seems to be doing something because everybody says this is awesome. So what I do is I put it in my pocket, and then I just... Every now and then we decide to bust out the old grand piano. I'm just gonna play you a little one right now. There's the song Moon's Blood. There's one section towards the middle where it gets really dark and gloomy. We decided to put some kind of an effect. We want that effect to actually perform itself well. So what I use is this. Some ritualistic instrument. So the part goes like this.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about the guitars that I'm using with binary code. I got this really sick Mayonis DeVell 7 Elite. I love this guitar. Been rocking this for a few months now. So this guitar features a eye-poplar top. This is a satin finish, this is natural finish. This mahogany body. This is a 5-piece bolt-on neck. This is Wenge and Babinga. Really love the bolt-on up here in the higher register. It's real comfortable. Sometimes, you know, some of these other guitars that I played, it gets a little cramped up in the higher register. This guitar features all Hipshot hardware, so I got the Hipshot fixed 7-string bridge. Really comfortable, really easy to maintain, easy to intonate. And I got these really cool Hipshot grip lock tuners. Really cool, uncovered, I like that. It's got a ebony fretboard. I got no fret markers on the face, but I do have, Jesse and I both have these Luminlay side dots, which are really great for those dim lit stages. As far as pickups go, it features the Seymour Duncan Nazgul Sentient set, which I'm a big fan of. Very articulate, high output pickups, I really dig them. Picks, I've been using these for a while, these Dunlop Tortex Jazz 3s, big fan of those. And Jesse and I have also been experimenting a little bit with these gravity picks, which we really dig. And then as far as strings go, I'm using these NYXL Diodario strings, 7-string set. This is an 11 to 64 set. Pretty basic Levy strap. I got these cool locks on here, which is good so I don't tear my guitar apart. And that's pretty much it. So one thing I should mention is our sound guy, Austin Blau, hates when we mic our Kempers, but we think it totally sounds great. So we kind of bust his balls about it. I don't know if you can hear Oded practicing his egg shakers in the background. You know, totally necessary to do right now, so.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sean from Binary Code, and I'm gonna show you my drums and my cymbals. Okay, here we got a Zildjian 18-inch Oriental Trash. We have a Sabian HHX Dry Ride, 21 inches. Here we got another Oriental Trash, 14-inch, also Zildjian, on top of a Sabian AAX 16-inch Studio Crash. So there's a cymbal gangbang going on there. And then we got AA Extra Thin Crash, 18-inch, also Sabian. This is my main, like, ride crash. AA Explosion Crash, 17-inch, AAX Sabian. And then my hats, which I've had for a very long time, very sentimental. The Zildjian A-Series Master Sound hi-hats, 14-inch. Cobalt Blast drum set, Star Classic Tama. Great drums, 4 plies of birch and 3 plies of bubinga. The bubinga is on the inner part of the drum, and then the birch is on the outside. So the birch kind of gives it that full, deep sound, while the bubinga is like really focused, which I really love. Basic fusion. So we got 10 by 8, 12 by 9, 14 by 12, 22 by 18 bass drum, and my snare. This is the 13 by 7 Tama SLP, which they just came out not too long ago. And there's 13 plies of maple in this, which makes it super loud. And die-cast tubes, you know what I did here? I cut around one of my old heads and put it on here for a nice dampening, very harsh dampening. Now the heads, so 13-inch ambassador, and then we have the emperors. So 10, 12, 14 emperors. These are the Trick Pro 1V Bigfoots. These pedals are amazing. It's direct drive, so basically whatever your foot does, the pedal does. And the beaters are phenomenal. They're so lightweight. The beaters and the whole pedal is just very fluid and very powerful at the same time, which is why I love it. We got the Vic Firth George Callias. It's a blend between a 5A and a 5B. It's like short and stocky, but also thick, and I really like the tips of it. They're almost rounded. They're like a barrel shape, which makes hitting the cymbals and the drums very powerful. My throne is pearl. My rack is pearl, and I have some Tama hardware to hold the cymbals. And yeah, that's my kit. I didn't mean to see you there. This is the exact way we recorded all of the drums. I just kind of Great, right? I also want to talk to you about my pillow. I feel like drummers don't talk about their pillow. I just want to show you the pillow right here. It used to be white, but then I turned 13. Oops, so now it's nice and pee-pee red. Stuff that back in there. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Connor. I play bass in Binary Code, and I'm gonna run you through some of the gear I'm using. My main bass, this is a Schecter Stiletto Custom 5. I've had this bass for about 10 years now, I think. As you can see, I've worn like holes through it with my thumb on top. But I've had this bass forever, and it's always treated me well. It always sounds good. It's a tank, so I've put it through plenty of abuses. So just pretty standard bolt-on neck, 5-piece neck. I use Diodario Flex Steels. These are really geared more towards slap players because they give you a lot of give, but they're very snappy. But I play really, really hard. I dig in pretty hard on the strings, so it's good to have that extra give without worrying about like snapping bass strings, because I swear I'm the only person I know who's like snapped bass strings when I play live. I'm using a DiMarzio clip lock strap, pretty standard. And this is my wireless pack for my Line 6 G30. So keeping with the central theme of simplicity and ease of use that Binary Code seems to be going for, my rig is incredibly simple. So all of it is on this pedal board right here. So as I mentioned before, we come from the Line 6 relay, the G30. That's going into my ubiquitous Boss chromatic tuner. Pretty self-explanatory. That's going into my Ibanez TS9 tube screamer. This is a special tube screamer. This is modded by Robert Keeley. Adds this awesome high gain switch right here. It's a really good tube screamer tone, so I use that to push my tone, put a little grit in it. After that, it goes into my Abominable Electronics Unholy Grail. This is a really cool pedal. It's a delay and a boost pedal all in one. So it's a pretty standard delay. It has you got your feedback knob, you get depth, and then the timing knob. And then this one is the boost. So it gives a really nice, clean boost. And I really like this pedal because it darkens up your tone a lot when you engage it. I think they put out a different version with a bright switch, but this one takes a lot of the high end off the tone, so it's a really good ambient delay. And then finally, the centerpiece of the pedal board is the Tech 21 Sansamp. I have the 3-button programmable one, so I get 3 different options for my tone. So I kind of have it from like very clean to like a little bit of drive to pretty fuzzed out, and you can get a lot of different tones with the Sansamp. That's the main thing. That's how I get on my tone. And that's really it.
ride of choice. Phil Collins used it. I mean, come on, Phil Collins.
With a maple top, flame maple top.
The serial number says it's from 2001.
It looks pretty.